be a good girl. Like ultra, follow all of the rules, color only inside of the lines, good girl. As I recall it, I would never even ask questions about anything. I just always did exactly what I was told to do as I was told to do it. This all started when I was about 10 years old. Before then, I was a wild child, free to roam, explore, ask all sorts of questions. I loved hanging out with my two brothers, BJ and Jamal. I tried to do everything that the boys did, backflips, climbing fences, although I never really had much use for playing around in dirt or playing with the bugs. But as we darted towards puberty, I started to notice a shift happening. My brothers were encouraged to be vocal and explore their manhood, while I, on the other hand, was being encouraged to be more silent, to be seen and to not be heard. This shift had everything to do with gender roles that were perpetuated through the church. What I haven't shared with you guys yet is that we belong to a very strict religion. It's called holiness or apostolic. And holiness apostolic is sort of the spectrum. There's the more loose end of the spectrum, which is similar to Pentecostal, and then there's the more strict end of the spectrum, which is like Amish. That's the version I was in, with the exception that we could drive cars, we could use electricity, and eventually we could use computers. But the religion as a whole was all-encompassing. It controlled every part of our lives, where we could go, what we could do, what we could study, and what we could wear, to name a few. Women were expected to wear something called a modest apparel, and that basically meant we were covered from head to toe. So I used to have to wear a head covering, a long sleeve shirt with a very high neckline, a long skirt or dress that had to be exactly 8 inches from the floor, no more, no less. These brown cotton stockings that shaped like the leg of a very mature woman. And closed-toe shoes that could be brown or black. And pants were a big no-no. As we continued to grow, I went to regular school with everyone else. And as you can imagine, I was pretty different from all of the students that I went to school with. In fact, I remember one day going to school and this guy that I had the biggest crush on, announcing in front of the entire classroom, "Hey Sasha, you dress like a pilgrim." We didn't work out as a couple. My feelings was hurt, but I think when I look back, in hindsight, I'm laughing too hard, hold on. In hindsight, he was right, I kind of did look like a pilgrim. As I continued to grow into our teen years, I paid very close attention to the rules that I had as compared to the rules that my brothers had. And make no mistakes, my brothers still had rules, but their rules just weren't nearly as strict as mine. I especially paid close attention to my big brother, BJ. BJ was defiant. He broke all of the rules. He challenged all authority. And he moved with this freeness that I never had, but I always wanted. And while BJ was exploring his manhood, I was learning to cook, to sew, to crochet, and basically take care of my home. I got to the point where I could make homemade biscuits from scratch and sew an entire skirt all in the same day. But I could also have these highly intellectually stimulating conversations with anyone about anything. Growing up, we weren't allowed to watch television and we did not have a TV in our home. So we read anything we could get our hands on, so long it was approved by the church. Someone gifted our family an encyclopedia set, and BJ and I, we read the entire encyclopedia set. We learned about everything from the geographical elements of the Appalachians to the properties of zinc. We could go on and talk to people about anything. We would have these really stimulating conversations with each other, conversations that you didn't necessarily expect teenagers to have. And while BJ could remember details better than me, I was quick on my feet. So I would always challenge him to go a little bit further, think a little bit deeper about his ideas. And then it happened, my day of reckoning. I was about 13 years old. It was a hot, sticky Florida day. We were all hanging out at the church as usual. A group of teens were in the back with one of the ministers, and we were having a very, very lively conversation about something that even when I try so hard to remember, I cannot remember what the topic was. But whatever the discussion was, I was leading the discussion. I had read about it, and so I was challenging us to think a little bit deeper, as I always done. And at some point, the minister looked at me and he said, "You're really vocal, and you have a lot to say. You should have been born a boy." I remember in that moment feeling really, really ashamed and really embarrassed because although he didn't say it, I knew exactly what he meant. He meant that I was unruly, that I was loud, and that I wasn't behaving as a woman. And I didn't want to be seen as unruly or loud or not understanding my place as a woman, so I shut up. I stopped talking. I stopped asking questions. I stopped even thinking for myself. I just did exactly what they told me as they told me. And anytime I thought that maybe I had a thought about something or a question, I would say to myself, "No, Sasha, stay in a woman's place. You can never question the man of God. Stay in your place." And then they let my ass go to New York City, bitch ass. When I arrived in New York, it was go time. It was do or die, sink or swim, eat or be eaten, and I damn sure hadn't come to New York to be eaten. I was studying at NYU, and my time in New York would become so critical to my growth and development process. I would have these milestones in my life that I would remember forever, like the time I felt the wind on my legs for the first time. I was 19 years old. I had on this jean skirt that had been sewn together in 4 places with baby blue stitching. It was slightly below my knees. I was walking down Broadway. And as I walked down the street, I felt so gently the wind graze across my lower legs. I had never felt that feeling in my entire life. I looked around to see if the New Yorkers were having this moment with me. From your laughter, you know they weren't. It was just me. I smiled and I took that moment in my heart. I recognized that it was my first taste of freedom. NYU taught me how to think and that it was okay to ask questions. That it was my responsibility to ask questions, and so I did. I started to ask questions about everything. And in doing so, I questioned the church. When I started to question the church, I was met with a lot of strife. I was shamed. I was silenced. I was sat down. I was damn near kicked out. I remember going back home one time, my friends and I wanted to go to Disney. We had never been to Disney World because Disney World was forbidden. And by this time, I had started to experiment with pants, y'all. So my friends and I, we took the 2-hour trek from Jacksonville to Orlando. I had on these Bermuda shorts that were slightly above my knees. This black and white shirt and some black and white sneakers. We ran all around Disney World. We took pictures with Mickey, with Minnie. We got on every single ride. We ate those huge turkey legs that you can find at Disney World. We had an absolute blast hanging out at Disney World. When we got back, one of my friends decided to post some pictures on Facebook. Oh God, here they go. And she was careful though. She was careful to put it on the Mystic profile, but she accidentally left the browser open on her family's computer. Her mother saw our pictures, and for some reason that we'll never know, she decided to print them all out on 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper and hand them to the bishops at church. We all got into so much trouble. It was 5 of us. We all got called into the office individually. I remember it being sort of like an interrogation. They were asking us questions like, why were you girls at Disney World? Who gave you permission to go to Disney World? Which one of you guys started at the end of it and repent for our sins, repent for going to Disney World, and repent for wearing pants. And then we were silenced and sat down for about 45 days. I talk about this time today in my life kind of lightheartedly, but it's important for you all to know that this is a really, really difficult space in my life. I was a very young person, and the church at that point was all that I knew. You weren't allowed to have relationships with people outside of the church, real relationships, so I really didn't know my family who wasn't in the church. They were, the church, they were my grandparents, my uncles, my cousins, my friends, they were all that I had. And I found myself in this place where I had no one. I remember being so angry, I didn't know who to trust. I didn't know who to go to. I would cry myself to sleep in my dorm room, just angry and confused and feeling alone. I remember I started to become angry at God because I didn't understand how a God that could pretend to be so filled with love could also be so hateful and manipulative at the same time. I would later learn that I didn't know God as love. I had only experienced God at that point through fear, and specifically fear by control. They taught us that if we were disobedient, that God would kill us. I remember thinking that if I watched TV, I would go blind because I had been taught. I had been programmed to believe that if I watched TV, I would go blind. I remember thinking that I would die in a fiery car crash on my way to Disney because I had been taught that I would die in a fiery car crash for doing things like wearing pants or going to Disney World. And there were some young people from the previous generation who had left their religion, and some of them died through various ways, and they used that as ways to control us. And it was really effective. I recognized at some point in my life that in order to break free, I had to somehow get over this fear of death. And I don't know if you've ever tried to convince yourself that you're not afraid to die, but let me tell you, it's hard as hell. Okay? I didn't know where to start, I didn't know what to do, but I remember I would just stand in my mirror in my dorm room and I would look at myself, sometimes for 15, 20, 30 minutes, and I would say 5 words. I'm not afraid to die. 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 I would repeat that over and over as I went to sleep at night. I would whisper, I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid to die. I would push myself to the brinks doing things I was terrified of, like skydiving, just so that I could get over this fear of death. I didn't have a death wish. I had a deep desire for freedom. And I realized that in order for me to gain this freedom, I had to be willing to die. The day that I finally broke through the ice, I had been called in the office yet again. By this time, I was being called in the office so regularly, it was becoming a part of life for me. More pictures had surfaced of me from my 21st birthday party. I was wearing some bad jeans and a red halter top. I was fine. As I sat there listening to the minister rail into me about my sins, I refused to make eye contact with him. I remember keeping my face fixed on the wooden wall behind him and slightly above his head. He told me that if I didn't straighten up, I would go to hell. He told me that I needed to be obedient, I needed to behave as a woman should. And as he continued talking, at some point he said, Sasha, don't you know God will kill you? And when he said those words, I made eye contact with him for the first time. And I said, I'm not afraid to die. Silence filled the space between us. He had this look of bewilderment on his face. He knew that I was breaking through the ice. I knew that I was breaking through the ice. Today I am this perfect collision of domestication and deliberation. Today I realize that in some ways, that minister, he was right. I am vocal. And I do have a lot to say. And I intend to say it. Anyone, anywhere who tried to silence me or put me in some sort of a box, I look at them square in their face and I say,